everybody, and welcome to this episode of The Spiritual Handyman. My name is Jason Antelek, and I am your host, and we are putting spiritual tools into the hands of the people that need them. Today, we are going to be talking to Vialet Rayne about sacredness. She is the owner and magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, a spiritual center that is found in Littleton, Colorado. It is also my home base. So this is a spot that's very near and dear to my heart, as is our guest today, Vialet Rayne. Remind everybody out there that you can catch us on YouTube. New episodes post every Thursday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And you can watch the episodes there on YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram. You can check us out on Facebook. Also at thespiritualhandyman.com. You can access the videos and the podcast if you prefer to listen to the audio only of the show. That is available through the website and through Podbean. Also let you know on the site, if you are interested in being a guest or a sponsor of the show, you can donate or you can set up a sponsorship if you like. You can reach out through those channels and fill out the form for sponsorship or to be a guest, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. So let's get into the goodies today. We are talking about sacredness with Vialet Rayne. Vialet, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your story.
So I am Vialet Rayne, magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. And my story's been, I've always, as a child, been very connected to source, to messages, to information. People would come to my room and wake me up of a night, meaning spirits would always talk to me. I always knew things in the future that were going to happen. I was always very connected. And as a child, it was a little scary for my family for me to bring messages. So like many of us, or some of us, we close down our gifts somewhere in our childhood and really disconnect and really forget how gifted. You know, I've always followed my gut, my intuition, always followed what was happening, but really didn't understand where that was. And always been very involved in the church because I love the sacredness of church, the stained glass windows, the beautiful altars, the music, and that was a sacred place to me. It was a place to go, and I could feel sacredness, whether the church or the people weren't quite on track. It was part of the sacredness. And so I've continued my search. I no longer attend the traditional churches, but on my spiritual path, sacredness has always been a big part. They tease me about being the queen of sacredness. I love sacredness. So that's been kind of my journey, and I keep bringing in more and more of sacredness into my life.
So for our viewers and listeners, let's define sacredness and what it means to you. So we have that point of reference. We have that the space we're coming from your understanding and what it represents in your life and your day-to-day. So help us understand that.
Well, I love that question because my husband and I have had these conversations a lot. Like, what is sacredness? How do you define sacredness? And if you go to the dictionary and you look up sacredness, it has reverence and religion and religious. And to me, sacredness is holiness. It's special. It's a space that we create because we love it, and it's beautiful and it's special to us, and it has that energy that just kind of fills us up and we step in. And sacredness can be in all things, including ourselves. But sacredness to me is that holiness, that special place, that thing that we create as special for us.
So it sounds like what you mean is in every aspect, any aspect of our life. Like we can have sacredness in what we do and how we eat, how we prep our food, how we drive to work. Is that accurate?
That is very accurate. Sacred in how we look at ourselves. Most people forget that we are sacred beings. And if we treat ourselves in a sacred, respectful way, others will treat us in a sacred, respectful way. But we have to hold ourselves in this area that we believe that we are sacred and we are divine beings, and that we deserve to be loved and respected, and people to hold a high level of integrity for us. That is sacredness.
So that brings me to another question. You kind of hinted to it there. What are the benefits of having sacredness in your life and taking the time and the effort to hold that space for ourselves? What is that? How does that reflect in our day to day?
Well, when we respect, we honor ourselves, we love ourselves, we hold ourselves in a higher place, we raise our vibration, our energy, we bring ourselves into a new space of living, actual living. When we don't hold a sacred space for ourselves, then we allow ourselves to have self-doubt, depression comes in, a lot of those other things. But when we see ourselves as a divine being, that we love and respect ourselves, our shoulders stand up, our body raises up, we start to lift ourselves up, we start to feel that energy. It really does come in, and it really does shift you in so many ways.
And that's what I've experienced quite a bit of in my learning process and my new understanding of sacredness that you've blessed me with over the last couple of years, and through sacred priesthood for sure. The pathway that I've been on with you now for almost a year. The sacredness from my point of view is very similar to what you're saying. In my words, it's about holding a space that is clean and clear, and I would say crisp as well, but a blessed space. You're coming from an energetic stance that is very, shall we say, a little higher vibrational, right? Like you're not allowing yourself to be drugged down, and when you are drugged down, it's a little easier to get back up. And holding yourself in a space where you have respect for you, but at the same time for everything around you, and honoring that in different ways. It's actually really easy to implement in your life, and it doesn't have to be a huge production, right? I mean, there's things that we can do to get started. So how about you help us understand, Vialet, somebody that has recognized, like, oh, this is something I'd like to experience. What would you tell them are some of the easiest first steps?
Easy first steps. I know for me as a child and as a teenager, I would, set my room a certain way. I'd put objects in certain places. I was very detailed in where everything sat. And what I was really doing was creating sacredness without really knowing it. And we can all do that, bringing in that beautiful angel that we love to sit in the corner to remind us that we're sacred and they're looking out over us, or setting down a cloth and putting beautiful things on it and really feeling the beauty and the sacredness of the energy. Meditating in a space and creating that meditation pillow and that candle that you light, that creates that sacred moment for your meditation, for your prayer, or the altar that you set up in a corner of your home or your workplace that has beautiful objects on it that connect you in this special way to the energies of sacredness or source or divine divinity, that makes you feel like you're in this special place. It's so easy to create. It's about cleanliness and tidiness and neatness. If you create that space and you let the dust pile up and you forget it and you don't put your energy in it and you don't love it and you don't step into it, it loses its sacredness and its energy. So create something that you want to be in front of, that you want to love, that you want to look at, that you want to spend time spending time in that space. That's what sacredness is.
That's really powerful information, and you just hit us with a lot of different possibilities, right? with a lot of different things. So the underlying thing that I can really connect to all the stuff you shared is that it's about beauty, and it's about something you connect with. So whether that's an angel or a crystal or a cloth or a bowl, whatever that might be for somebody, having that in your space and spending time with it and connecting with it, even if it's just for a few moments, can really start to amplify that sense of integrity, that sacredness in your life.
It really can, and it can be the simplest of things. Your spirit animal, a blanket, anything that you love, that it makes you feel really good, that you see the beauty in, that you really connect with. It's different for everyone. That's the beauty of this. Your sacredness, what you feel is sacred, is different from one person to the other. And isn't that beautiful that we're all unique and sacredness is different for each of us?
So one of the easiest ways to connect with that outside of yourself and kind of get a connection to that feeling is to go someplace that you're drawn to, whether that be at a church or some sort of temple or someplace in nature, and really take an opportunity to sit in that space and connect with it. And I would explain it as it's kind of this draw. It sort of draws this energy out of you and into the surrounding area. It almost expands your heart space and expands your energy field. And the things that you have in that field that amplify that for you, those are your sacred things, right? So like at my home space, I have a cloth like Vialet explained, and it's got Metatron's cube on it. And sitting on the cloth are some of my spiritual tools, whether that's a crystal or maybe a wand or some sort of feather tool that I might be using at the time. And those things are in that sacred space, so they're ready when it's time for me to use them. So it really is about what it is for you, because your cloth may just be a yellow cloth that you really like, or maybe there is no cloth, there's just a bowl and it's got some beautiful things in it. So it really is that easy, that it's simple to make it happen for you.
Jason, it's about loving it, right? Think of the young man that buys his first car and has it painted and it's this beautiful color, and he goes out and he washes it and he waxes it and he loves it. Is that car not sacred to him? Does it not make him feel different when he's with it, connecting with it, loving it? It's the same concept. It's what you love. It's what you step into, what you want to put your energy in. And when you do that on a regular basis, it raises your energy, your love for life, your sacredness, and brings you into a whole new space.
So that really, it kind of prompted me there to recognize that, as we've said, it's different for each person, but there's probably already things in people's lives that are in that category. Like you said, the car, right? Mm-hmm. And I think back to my first car. I had a 65 Mustang that I absolutely adored. And I spent a lot of time in my car and connecting with it and working on it. And all of that stuff is in that same kind of space. So I get that analogy very well. So I would say to people that you probably already have something that's going on, whether that's a plant in your kitchen or herbs in your garden, or something is already there, and that is a great way to connect and then build upon.
Absolutely, and spend more time in it and connect it and feel the difference in your energy when you're connecting and you're being part of that, or you're working in it, or you're being in that place. And notice how you shift and change and what that feels like. And do more of that. It should inspire you to want to create these spaces, these things throughout every room in your house, through your workspace, your car, because when we love things and we put our heart into it and our love into it, we connect to it. And it's those energies that bring in that sacred feel, that sacredness, that we're in the right place, we're doing the right things.
So now I have three things. There's, well, I'm just recapping, okay? One is the beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Another is that connection, that personal connection, and then the love.
Mm-hmm.
So those are great ways to those are great markers to look for in what it is in your life that may have those qualities, or one or all of them. That's a great place to identify and to start with, right?
Absolutely. And they're so simple when you think about it, but when you put them together and you step into those beautiful emotions and energies, notice the shift, right? How different it is.
And it brings me to another thought about relationships. I have relationships in my life that are sacred.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously with my beloved, but also like with my little dog. It's a sacred relationship because all those things are there. There's the beauty, there's the connection, there's the love, and that relationship itself is sacred. So there's more than just the environmental level to this.
Right. It is your relationships. And think about the relationships that you have in your life that don't have beauty, that don't have connection, that don't have love, that aren't sacred, and how those impact us and what happens in those relationships. Don't you want to have more sacred relationships, sacred friendships, sacred relationships with family members, those people that mean so much to you, that you hold in that special place? You know, we should have sacredness in everything, the things that influence us, you know, what we watch on TV, what we listen to, what we read, what we get pulled into. Do they inspire us? Do they show us beauty? Do they give us connection? Do we get love from that? If not, why are we allowing those things to influence us? Because sacredness is in so many parts of our lives and who we are, even in our mindset, on how we hold ourselves and how we think. You know, are we looking at beauty, connection, and love? Do the things inspire us, or do they bring in negative thoughts or self-doubt and all those things that can come in? We want to bring in more sacredness into all areas of our life.
And you have done that at a level that is inspirational. And I probably could think of a dozen words to go along with the space here at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. But watching this space grow and being a part of that with you, there's been a lot of points along the way where I have learned how important it is to you and how deeply connected to continuing that philosophy and that sacredness and drawing it into the new spaces that you create. Even to when we moved into another space, we're writing on the walls and there's geometric shapes on the floors underneath the carpets, and there's special stuff going on in all of the rooms, and you have that great vision of what it's going to be like later. And along the way, we're going, okay, Vialet, whatever you tell us to do, because it definitely works. We're just not quite sure what your vision is. But help us understand, you know, when you put that time and effort into it, how it has shaped the community and how it's rippled out. Like, what does it do with the world around us?
Well, when you think about it, I believe there's lots of people out there that haven't experienced sacredness, or they've disconnected, or they've forgotten. The center is here for people to walk in and go, whoa. They may not always know what it is that they're feeling, but they can feel the energy. They may not always understand what's happening in the space, but they feel the difference. They feel lighter. They feel more vibrant when they're in the space. And so I wanted to have a space that people could come to and really feel sacredness. And sacredness is all about detail and intention in what you're doing, whatever that is. And yes, every place I go in, I write on the walls. I write affirmations. I put in beautiful sacred geometry symbols. I do light codes. I do numbers. I bring everything in that I have in my toolbox to make sure that when we paint that wall, it has all this beautiful energy behind it. And that wall will continue to have that energy long after I'm gone. It'll continue to vibrate from those intentions that I've set for the symbols that I've put in, the geometry in the floor, the colors that I choose. Colors have vibration and they bring in different things. And so most people don't think about those things. And I really step back because it's about being in a space that inspires us, heals us, lifts us up, supports us in whatever we're doing. And all of these things are super, super important. And so it's just thinking about what can I bring in that's going to have people emotionally connect and feel something.
So being someone that operates in the space and works out of the space full time, I can say that the space has its own energy to it. It has its own feel, and that feel expands with people and supports them. And it all starts with that the process that you put into it, the time and the effort that you have put into it, and watching it grow and watching the walls get covered and feeling it when the room is all done and everything's decorated and the little tweaks are finished. But it also is about maintaining that. We keep the space clean. We dust. We vacuum every day. We make sure that everything it's beyond presentable. If an angel came through our door, which happens probably all the time, but if we invited the angels over, we would be proud to have them in the space, and we would welcome them and know that it's it's a place where we can really connect and be happy and be proud that we're here. And as a community, it really ties us all together because we all have a sense of it. Whenever you're in the center, you can absolutely feel the energy. And even when you go into the different rooms, the different themed rooms have their own energy, but there's still that underlying woven fabric that brings it all together. And I would attribute that to the sacredness that is put into it from the beginning and every day.
It's really thinking about it. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of the rooms are the elements. When we bring in the dragons, because we have the dragon den, it's all that fire energy and protection and the old teachings, and they step in. When you walk into the mermaid room, it's about water. It's about flow and heart and supporting the heart of the center and the love of the center. When you walk into the fairy classroom, it's all about that earth energy, because the fairies really want us to play and ground and really understand that we take life too seriously. And so it brings in that energy. And then our unicorn is all air. It's the magic. It's the magic of how we think and what we do. And all that thought's been placed into the center. Every time we move to a new center, Jason's like, okay, what are the rooms going to be? And I'm like, I don't know yet. It's percolating. They're coming to me. And then as they come and they flow in, and I hear what they need to be and what energies that I need to be. And then you step back and look at the elements. It's like, wow, all the elements it's balanced, it's represented, it's here, and it has that energy. We have people that stop by here that have had a bad day that just want to hang out, or people that haven't felt good that just want to come in and be in the energy, because I've created light portals that bring in light, and the angels are here and the dragons are here, and they're all protecting the center and bringing those energies. I remember when you first started with us and we went out and bought all these crystals and we brought them back and we sat them on the table, and you're like, okay, tomorrow I need to come and clear these crystals. And I said, no, wait 24 hours, come back and check them, and then let me know if they need to be cleared. And you're like, really? And I go, trust me, just check them. And we came back the next day and they're all clear. They're all clean. They're all reset. They're ready to go. The space holds that sacredness and brings that energy in to really support our work, to really give us what we need on our journey. So it's really beautiful.
It's so true. That's a real story that happened. Just as a side note, and if I don't say this, I'll pay the price. Fairies are real. They're real. You might have seen my video about the fairies are real. It's available on YouTube as well. I won't recreate that in this moment. But the beauty of what the space is and what it's evolved into, it really does embody everything that Violet's talking about. And I would urge you, if you're in the area, you live in the area in Littleton, Colorado, or if you're visiting town, that this is a place that is absolutely worth a visit. It's worth stopping into just to see what's been created here and to see for yourself what's truly possible. Violet has so many things that she does. She offers so many classes and workshops and readings and teachings, and just gives so much of herself to the community. We don't have a show long enough to tap into all of that stuff. But Violet, do share with the folks how they can find you personally, if they want to get readings or connect with you, and how they can connect with the center.
You know, the easiest thing is www.discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. Discover Your Spiritual Gifts also has a Facebook page. We have a YouTube channel. It's a little harder to find, but if you search for Vialet Rayne, and Violet with an A, you will find our YouTube channel and stuff out there. We're on Twitter and Instagram and all of that. So I have a Pinterest page. But if you go to our website, you'll connect to all of these places on how to find us. And as Jason says, open invitation. We hope you'll stop by and see us if you're ever in the area. It definitely is worth the trip. I don't think you would be disappointed.
Well, Violet, thanks for sharing that information, and thank you so much for taking the time to share what sacredness means to you, what it looks like, and how people can bring it into their lives. It's very powerful information, and it's an incredible foundation for anything that people want to do. It really does set the stage for all the other aspects of your spiritual journey. And there's no miss, folks. If you have sacredness, that's fabulous. And if you recognize that you could use some more of it, that there's never a moment that's too late or too early. Just find a way to bring it into your life. Recognize it through that beauty, the connection, and the love, and find more of that or create more of that in your life.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for having me, and thank you for watching.
So that's going to conclude this episode of the Spiritual Handyman, everybody. The information that Violet has shared with you will be down in the comments section, and you can check us out at discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. That is a great place to start to learn all about what is offered here. Also, there is a DYSG Live. It's a new radio program that is available, and Violet and I are both hosts on that with the wonderful Dave the Mystic, Dave Barnett. He's also a host, and we have some pretty amazing guests, so definitely worth a look. I'll put a link to that down in the comments as well. And thank you for watching The Spiritual Handyman. Please take an opportunity to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, like, comment, share, get involved in the community. That's how we build it. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next episode.
The Spiritual Handyman, bringing spiritual tools to the hands of the people who need them. Sponsored by the Eagle Heart Foundation. The Eagle Heart Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that brings charitable contributions and educational enhancements to the people. So how can you be a part of the Spiritual Handyman and the Eagle Heart Foundation? The Triple Win Situation. This book was written by Granddaughter Crow, and half of the proceeds go to the Eagle Heart Foundation, which in turn sponsors the Spiritual Handyman. How to get one? It's on Amazon and Kindle for only $9.99. So we are here to bring tools to you. Thank you so much, Spiritual Handyman. We believe in what you do.